Back for another episode.
That's my baby. That's my baby.
We're going at it at 110%.
I just want 5 minutes of happiness, please. Just give me 5 minutes.
And they scored. They did it.
Left, beat left.
What the hell was that? Oh, yeah.
What the fuck are you talking about?
All right, what is up, my fam? We are back for another episode of the Athlete Spotlight. I'm your host, Steve Rochelle. Being joined to my right is UFC Flyweight Miss Sarah, Too Sweet Alpar. How are we doing this afternoon?
Hello, I'm great, doing really good. Hope your day is going well.
Yeah, I've been running around crazy all the last few weeks. You know, moving around. I still dealing with the half a wing over here.
Oh no, okay, that makes sense. What did you do?
I toured at work, and I'm in the middle of actually fighting. Having to deal with the process. They're not recognizing it, so I've been fired, things of that nature. So it's been an interesting year, to say the least, on so many levels, personal levels. Here at A2D, we're killing it. I know like COVID's been rough on a lot of people, but the sports media business hasn't stopped for us. We got a lot of fun stuff going on here. I've been here almost 2 years now, and wouldn't rather be anywhere else. Obviously, fam, hit that subscribe button for everything we're doing here. And obviously, the show is sponsored by Specialized Physical Therapy. Any of your rehab needs, obviously, me and Sarah, being injury people who are in some things, good physical therapy is a big thing. Make sure you're checking out our guys over there at Specialized Physical Therapy. Now, one thing I want to ask you, obviously, give the fam a quick chance to kind of introduce yourself to not all of our listeners may know who you are, a little bit of your background, whatever, how you got into combat sports. To kind of give the floor over to you, Sarah.
Yeah, sure. Well, I was a wrestler before I started fighting. That was 2009, 2010. I got a scholarship to wrestle at Oklahoma City University. I did that for a whole year, finished it out, but just shit kept going wrong. I kept dealing with MRSA, and I was even hospitalized for it.
My stepdaughter, she had to deal with that. I think it was her first month on the first mat in her first gym. I was like, damn, that's rough. That's dealing with that is another rough thing to have to deal with. How did that one come about?
I think it started because I got my tonsils taken out when I was 18, and then after that, my immune system was just weak. And then going in, because I never had anything happen on my skin, and no staph infection or anything like that. And then they took my tonsils out, and it just started having to reset. But so I was hospitalized a couple of times for it. But yeah, so had that kidney stone. After that one, I was like, I can't do this anymore, and their expectations of me, they wanted me to wrestle at a really low weight class and stuff. And it was just like a hard time. I was in a dark spot. So went back home to Amarillo, Texas, where I'm from. And I wasn't done competing. I landed at a martial arts gym out there, and the coach out there was like, you got some scrap in you. You want to start fighting? I was like, yeah, I want to start fighting, and then it just all went from there. So
got in that MMA gym and started to fall in love, right?
Yeah, I did.
Now you already obviously you had the wrestling background. Was it the striking aspects of putting it all together? Is that what really kind of made it stick for you, or is it just you always have I guess what they say that fight in you, that dog in you, etc.
Yeah, that's definitely the biggest part. The competition, the dog in me. I'm a go-getter. I don't give up. I'm pretty damn tough. I don't know if you've seen a couple of fights that I've had, but I'm mentally in my head, I'm like, okay, I can do this when I'm in it. I just don't give up. So yeah, it's cool.
Everyone loves that fighter who comes to fight. Not that one who plays the point fight. Everyone, I think that's one of the reasons why I think women's MMA is kind of loved the way it is the simple fact that doesn't matter which weight class, what the ranking is, whatever. 9 times out of 10, if you're looking on the card, you should find the female fight, because 9 times out of 10, they're probably the one that has the people up out of their seats the most.
Yeah, I think so too.
I mean, it's not to take anything away from any champion or any fighter on the card. It's kind of what we've seen with women combat sports, at least over the last 5 to 10 years, is they rule a little bit. I think you even take it at this past weekend, when we see Kamaru Usman fight and Kobe Covington fight, but I still think people were talking more about Rose and Wee's fight, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's always great to see Rose fighting. She puts on such a great performance, and to watch her from the beginning when she was on The Ultimate Fighter to now, how much she's grown, and just her personality too. I know she can have some ups and downs, but she's pretty open about it. People give her shit sometimes, but I think it's cool. She's like an open book, and she's not afraid to tell everybody, like, this is what I'm going through here, and this is how I feel, and when it comes,
I think that's one of the things I really truly admire Rose about. Like, she's always been the same person from the moment you've met her. She hasn't, like, it doesn't matter where how high she's risen. She's still that same person. I was lucky enough to meet her after I think it was her second Invicta fight, when she had the flying armbar. The relationship with her and Pat, that's also I think a really special thing to see as well. The bond between them two, relationship wise, coach wise, etc. I think that's a unique thing. She, and this run, I think, is also special too. No one expected her to win either one of her title reigns. No one expected to beat Joanna. She slayed the dragon there. No one expected her to beat this champion. Everyone thought, well, she ran through Jessica Andrade. No one's going to beat this girl. Rose goes in and does it twice now.
Yeah,
I think she's on the way to cementing her place in the women's MMA pioneer history. And I got to get back to your weight class for a second, because we just hear the announcement that Roxy Modafferi is getting ready to hang it up in her fight at the beginning of next year. That's kind of opening some things up in your division in the back part of the things about, as far as open things up for some of this newer class. Obviously, you're being one of these ones now. I put a poll question together. I want to get your question. Do you think you'll be a ranked contender in flyweight by the end of this coming calendar year? Obviously, you've had a lot of bumps and bruises along the way. Landscape changes a lot in MMA. I want to see how you're feeling on your outlook on what 2020 holds for you.
Yeah, I think right now, after this last fight, I went and finally got some stuff checked out. So I know right now I'll be out for a little while, so I can get my body back together and stuff. Having Roxanne, like, seeing that she's hanging it up is like, oh my gosh, wow. But there's always something that comes to an end with that. I'm curious what her thoughts are and what she's planning on doing next, if this has been a thought for a while, or what's behind the scenes with that. I'd love to hear her story with it. But I
think this one's going to be her 49th professional fight, I think, or something like that.
And she's been at it for a while.
I mean, dude, she's cement. Like, doesn't matter if that woman ever even sniffs a championship in any of this promotion. She cemented herself as a pioneer of this sport. She's very unique. I hope that she stays around, at least as far as the coaching aspect. I know her and Philly product here. She's got Serena Southpaw, in there. She's there in Invicta. She's somebody. Those two are very close. I'm interested to see if Serena eventually, kind of gets her chance to make it over to the UFC. I think that would be a unique story. There's other people in her gym. I know she teaches the kids classes too. So maybe she goes along the lines of that. I think that would be pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Like, wasn't she teaching English out in China or something like that? Maybe
Yeah, she's a teacher too. So like, yeah, she has other ventures too. So it's not like she's kind of stuck to combat sports. But I think it's always interesting to see what the next chapter is for a lot of combat sport athletes, because for a lot of men there's a hole there after it leaves. I'm really interested to see how she transitions into the next career. I mean, like I said, she already has multiple other ones, so it's not like this was the only thing she's been doing. Her astonishing career. I don't think anyone can doubt that.
Yeah, well, I definitely think that not just combat sport athletes, but athletes in general, they their lives are structured. Like every day you wake up, you go work out, you eat at this time, blah, blah, blah. Everything is planned for them and shown to them. And then and their identity is with the sport that they're into. And so if something happens, injury or things like that, then it's a rude awakening, because it's like such a closed mind. It's such a straight focus for what an athlete's going for. And then things happen. So yeah, they are left with like, oh, what am I going to do now? It's like you said, a hole, like a place. It's really hard for everybody.
Some people are able to find that balance through coaching and through other outlets, and then you hear stories where guys get into trouble and things of that nature. We've even heard Mark Coleman was battling with addiction issues after his time in the UFC. So like it's some of these things like we always want to keep up and pay attention to what goes on with the veterans of our sport. We say the same thing for regardless of when we talk about the bigger sports, they have things in line. Obviously, I say it all the time. MMA combat sports is still kind of a baby, I mean, we're only like 20, 30 years into this thing, so there's still a lot of things that kind of have to be felt out and grown with, and you've been kind of caught in the middle of that too with some of the things that have gone on in the beginning of your career. Obviously, people who don't know, the hustle and bustle, the grind of a young MMA fighter is rough. If you don't have the sponsorship, if you don't have a great management team. I shouldn't even say good, a great management team that's able to put more than a handful of good quality sponsors on you. It's really tough to get through fight camps, let alone when you have injuries, let alone when you have ex-opponent pull out because of X, Y, and Z. And then things of the nature that you've had to come across where you create the GoFundMe account that's kind of been fighters kind of go to over the last 10 years.
Yeah.
Obviously, over the last handful, we've seen some female athletes come up with some other interesting things to kind of supplement those things. I mean, some embrace it, some. I mean, I already know what I'm talking about. I can see the facial expression, but listen, I'm not going to knock anyone's hustle when at the end of the day, whatever you're comfortable with, go right ahead. If you're comfortable in your skin to do that, hey, more power to you. But I got to ask you now. Now you've seen the rough side of it, and obviously gotten some criticism from in the community, outside the community, fighters that didn't agree with the GoFundMe account. Now, obviously, on the backside of it, you've had somebody reach out and help and take care of you, which made you even more of a target now.
Yeah, well, I thought it was crazy because it's like so many people who don't know my story and just took from what like a reporter wrote. So in the reporter's paper, they made it out like, oh, this UFC fighter is struggling to go at UFC, when in reality it was attacking me too. And it wasn't even, that's like not even my purpose and not even what I was trying to get at, but like that was the downside. On the plus side, this, reporter got the story too, and then another one got a story, gave him telephone, started going, and then that's how Jake Paul got a hold of it. I'm very fortunate, and you don't just say no, like, no, I don't need that. Like, what am I supposed to do?
Whoever's going to want to supporting your passions, your dreams, as long as this doesn't have a nefarious purpose behind it, I'm not going to tell anyone not to take it. Do I care with how or some of the things Jake says or how he goes about things? No. But hey, that's the basis of this platform is called agree to disagree. I'm not going to agree with everything he says. I'm not going to agree with everything he does. Do I think he's necessarily bad for the sport? No, he's bringing light to some things that we all know that needs to be addressed, regardless if the powers of the be will have a stance on it or whatever. I think at the end of the day, they know eventually it's going to have to come to a head and come to a change. We have to take care of the veterans of the sport. There has to be some type of fighter pension. You guys have been making money off of the blood, sweat, and tears of a lot of fighters. Now, not to say they haven't made their money, but we all know from the boxing world, it's never the fair shake, and it's never been a fair shake because it's based off of the same model. I just hope, not only as somebody who covers the sport, but as somebody who generally cares about the fighter and the people involved in the sport itself, that they can kind of have a general sense to see what's going on and see that some things need to be changed. We're seeing things of that nature where the fact that Jake was able to pull somebody the likes of Amanda Serrano away from a boxing promoter like that should have been the eye opener as it is. Female combat sports hasn't been really respected as much as it deserved. I mean, we've seen Ronda Rousey walk away from the sport at its top. People can have their opinions on that, regardless if it was about people were about to be figuring her out, her wanting to change her life, or what was it about that she'd already seen the writing on the wall and knew she had taken it as far as she could to take it herself. I think there will be another wave of females, whether it's your coming class or even I guess the generation that'll come right behind you. Someone's going to make a change in the sport and make another impact, and I can't wait to see it. I'm looking forward to seeing when you get back in there. Like I said, there's a lot of excitement in that class, that weight class, that women's flyweight class. I know everyone talks about Miss Shevchenko at the top there. She's excited. I still think there's over the next year and a half, she's going to want to finding her kryptonite, and someone's gonna knock her off. It's something I've seen a lot of times. When you get to these points, some of these champions, at least in UFC, I've seen it almost like they get bored with what happens and kind of fall to the wayside. I think Khabib was getting to that point. He knew it was about to happen, and he walked away before he knew that fire would burn out. We talk about that dog in you. That fire only burns for a proper period of time. Now I've seen people debate and say it's about a 3 or 4 year span for a fighter when they are at their best. I still think that window is a little bit longer. That's open for interpretation. What do you think that a fighter's top prime is more than 3 years? What do you think?
I think it just depends on the circumstances. I think it depends on how long the body can hold out for, how much damage the fighter's taken over the years. I think it depends on what kind of camps they're in, and just those huge factors. Our bodies, our work, and if it just keeps getting wrecked, then it's going to go out. And mentally too, if there's constantly a lot of stimulus and things like that coming through, fighting is a huge mental sport.
People downplay that so much.
Oh, it's hugely downplayed.
You could be physically or skillfully the inferior fighter, and if someone isn't 100% there, that's all it takes for you to take the upper hand in a fight.
Oh yeah, it just takes your mind going in a little bit of the wrong direction to change things around. You could be the best fighter in the world if you're not on your game that night. You can fall apart. So
I got to ask you, what do you think about Glover's late run? He's been a guy paid his dues so much in the sport. What do you think about his recent win of the light heavyweight crown? Obviously, being the secret weapon behind the Chuck Liddell years and down there with the down there in the pit, but. What do you think about him? Do you think he's gonna be able to do it, or do you think this is gonna be a short window for him?
I have no idea. I mean, if he's excelling and he's gotten to where he is right now, this could be like the chance for him to make it. You know, he's on a good run, and so as long as he keeps doing what he's doing and making these wins and these improvements, then I think he'll go pretty far.
I mean, I'm excited. I was definitely one of guy. I was always a fan of him. He, respectful guy, great guy in the sport. Interesting to see some new life breathing in the 205. Some more excitement. Obviously, move on from the John Jones era. Whatever happens with that happens with that. And I was a big Bones guy in the early days, but last 10 years or so, he's left much to be desired. It's his own doing. I guess we've seen a big change in how I guess the stars in the sport find ways to either promote themselves or push themselves out to the public. It's kind of a weird stage we're in. Like, it's not even sometimes really the guys or girls who are maybe the best fighter in the promotion or weight class kind of gets that push. It seems that whoever makes the most noise outside of it kind of gets it going. You feel like it's kind of that way too?
Yeah, I definitely think so. I do feel like with the women's sport, it's more like sex sells and things like that. Like the pretty fighters really get like a little bit of the extra edge, a little bit of an extra chance and stuff. So like I think there's just kind of, I mean, that's how it is. That's how it is with a lot of things. I
think it's almost kind of a society we've kind of live in now.
It's kind of built that culture. Way. Yeah, it's a very weird culture. You have people, have the OnlyFans accounts and things like that, and just
I literally even like I network, and I'll shoot out messages to people who add me and stuff like that to come support what we do over here, and it's literally I get right back there like, hey, do you guys do OnlyFans? I'm like, hey, I got another half, appreciate what you guys do, and keep shining, keep grinding, keep doing what you're doing, but like, hey, like that's not floating my boat right now.
Yeah, and I'm the same way. There is a time like I was like, man, getting pretty desperate here.
I still think there's a way you can do that without compromising how you feel.
Yeah,
like what I mean, like about what you're willing to do. I think there's ways to do that. With content. OnlyFans wasn't only meant to be the sex side of things. I still think there's a way for you to kind of like I've seen fighters do other things outside of that with those accounts. So it's not like that's the only thing. I mean, obviously people know why they're going there. Like I said, doesn't mean you can't do it in a manner that you feel isn't compromising you. I still think that there's other things inside of that platform that could be done outside of that. I know that's kind of what everyone blew it up as, but I still think there's other venues inside that could work for athletes.
Okay. Yeah. It's like for me, I don't have an account. I don't get on that stuff. I don't know like anything about it, just from what I hear the stereotype, of buttholes and boobies. So
I say it this way. Listen, for where you're at, you're just, your first handful of fights in the UFC. Hopefully, you get healed, bucket back up. And speaking of which, what are some of those things we're getting fixed up now that make sure that we're 110% coming in for 2022.
Well, a lot. I'm just kind of going through a whole restart. I don't know if you knew, but UFC had released me after this last fight. So it's like I'm thinking, well, what are we going to do now? So and I'm going in. That was my second loss, and that was with UFC. So I got to get my wins back up and get everything figured out. But I dropped the whole weight class, went back 20 to 25. From last time I was at that weight, it was like 2015. The PI was helping me. I'm not against anything they're doing, but like it's just. It wrecked me. Like I can't do these weight cuts anymore. I just can't do it. So I need to figure out a different solution.
So I guess the overall plan is trying to go back up to 35.
I don't know. Either I just have to sit where I'm at. But I was like, the weight cuts in general, I'm burnt out. I'm over it. Everything, and a lot of people don't understand like the post-cut cut like it happens with, fighters, bodybuilders, because I mean, your body does what your body does. I was 126 weighing in, and just like water alone, I was back up to 51. So that's what my body does. It takes it's like a sponge. And so it's like, okay, well, what are we doing? What's the game plan with that? So, and after this fight, I thought I was going to have to get surgery on my hip. I have a torn labrum in there and a bulging disc in my back. So I was in a lot of pain, I was immobile a couple of weeks ago. So just healing that and healing myself inside. I think mentally, like the heartbreak, I got fired. From the position and having to figure out, okay, how am I going to get back up to where I need to be? Spoke to my manager. He was like, you have a chance to get back there. But the UFC was pretty pissed off about, the GoFundMe and things like that. I know I wasn't favored for it. So just kind of just having to get everything together. I don't know what's next. I just got to take it day by day. So.
Yeah, listen. I would make sure I would stay on the radar. Like, look at some of the promotions that are closely connected to them. Cage Free Fighting Championships is definitely one. Here on this side of the coast that always is putting guys and girls in the UFC. Obviously, you still have other regional promotions of things of that nature. Or hey, listen, obviously, UFC isn't the only dance around, and I wouldn't completely take yourself out of that line, but I'm not sitting there saying that you can't take a fight here and there on another opportunity and see what happens. You know what I mean?
I know originally with my fighting, it wasn't even about getting into the UFC when I first started, because that wasn't available for women, but then it turned into that. And I'm so stubborn. I was like, I'm going to make this goal. And that was my goal. And I did make that, which is cool. So now it's just having to reset and see what I want to do and who I want to be with and making that happen. So just, right now it's a day by day, but first I got to get healed up before I even make a decision on what I want. I just need to focus on, all right, what's my body doing and what's going to be next? How long is this going to take? So.
Yeah, I still think, you got to get your body right, your mind right, and everything else. Like, obviously, having that type of situation come down, and then, obviously, the fallout afterwards, that, them letting you walk now, then you're having to kind of reevaluate the whole situation. So, I mean, then with everything else that's going on in life, it's a lot. So, yeah, man, you gotta go through it. And now we're getting ready to go hitting into the holidays with even more uncertainty. So, I'm definitely with you on this one. Life likes throwing us curveballs, right? Yeah,
it does. But there's always opportunity. I'm so much more than just a fighter. I had my first voice lesson in 15 years that I went back to. I'm learning the piano now. I have an opportunity for just to do anything. What's the saying? Like the world's your oyster or something like that. Like, there's so much more that I'm capable of doing and growing. And so I just going to be the best person I can be and go from there. I mean, there's always bar fights too, I guess.
Yeah, I just seen that there was something that was supposed to be here in the local area here, is something about street grudges or something like that. Listen, there's opportunities that are going to come up, regardless if it's the UFC, whatever. Obviously, Jake and them guys that have you on the radar. If really things come down to it, I'm sure that they'd be able to find you something there. There's so many opportunities in combat sports right now. Like, I still feel like, people who get into the sport thinking that the UFC should be the goal. I still think that the goal should be, to make the most out of your opportunities, make the most money for yourself, and make sure that you set yourself up in the future to not have to rely on purses where we're watching, guys in their 40s and 50s taking fights they probably shouldn't be taking. That's one of the things I hope, kind of, as much as we'd love to see these guys compete, or the nostalgic of seeing this guy going in there, like, it's one of the things that we have to one day sit there and hold ourselves accountable for this, because it's not a fight, it's a spectacle.
Yeah. I really wish that when I first started that, I had the people that I did now, because, like my marketing manager, Janelle, she's like, what is your mission statement? Like, what do you stand for? That's what's going to carry you, because I am my own business. I am the CEO of myself. And if I would have, like, instead of pleasing other, promotions or other people and things and focus on myself, it's like, man, I think it'd probably be a lot different and carry me to somewhere besides, UFC or things like that. I would have.
I tell everyone that I meet, when especially some of these fighters don't get married to that 3-letter name. Just get married to the sport itself. You know what I mean? Get married to yourself. Like you were just sitting there saying, be the CEO of yourself. Don't let don't let a opportunity compromise what your overall goal is. With this, you have a small window to kind of make what's the best of it, when you're in your prime in the sport as it is.
Yeah.
I say don't compromise any of it for anyone.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I agree completely.
Now, as I wrap this one up, Sarah, what I typically do is I kind of throw the proverbial microphone over to you. Anyone you would like to thank, teammates, shoot out your social media sites, any sponsors that you may have, any charities you're working with, anything like that, anything you want to get out there, you're working with or anything like that. The time is yours.
Yeah, I definitely want to thank MMA Coin. They've been great, awesome sponsor, and also my Steady Mind. They've helped me out in a plethora of ways. Definitely Southside Kickboxing. We opened that gym before my last fight, and I have great coaches, great teammates who support me in whatever I do and whatever position I'm in. So really grateful for that. And my family and friends out there who, no matter what, they have my back and support, and they just love me through it all. So I think it's great.
Well, definitely looking forward to seeing you get healed up, and seeing you get back in the cage, regardless. What promotion that is for. Definitely, keep me in the loop. Definitely want to get you back in there for the next one. I always, everyone always say the best of luck when it comes to. I say the best of skill to all of you. I'm pretty sure. Hopefully, 2022 is better to the both of us. I hope to see you in the cage. Knocking the proverbial ring rust off. Getting that hand raised again and getting back to what you like doing. Regardless if it's at flyweight, it's at bantamweight, which promotion is. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep building your brand. Get yourself out there. Have fun. Be yourself. And I wish you the best. And definitely keep in touch, my friend.
Yeah, you too. So appreciate it, and we'll see what happens next. Could be, Bellator, Invicta, bare knuckle. Like, who knows what's going to happen?
Hey, bare knuckle. There you go. We're seeing what's coming this weekend. You got Britain and Pearls this weekend. That should be a fun one.
Yeah, I love Pearl. She's so gangster. Like, man.
Well, no, and I still think a lot of people sleep on Britain too. Like, just because early on, like she got tuned up by Christina Ferreri. Like, I think it was like her first foray into it. But I still think that her last like 2 or 3 fights, she's kind of really evolved that as a bare knuckle boxer. Yeah, I know she's got she's got the former UFC fighter as her husband and Mr. Beltran there. But like, man, I really like this matchup. I think it should be fun. I think people are underestimating that fight. Obviously, Hector Lombard and Hunt's going to be absolutely bananas. Bare knuckle boxing is definitely going to be fun. If you get into it, hey, listen, let us know. I definitely want to be catching that one.
Yeah. I told him, like, hey, let's get a contract, and I want a boob job. So hook me up, bare knuckle. Let's go. Seems like the route everyone's going.
I'll say one thing. I know some personal things. Stay away from the boob job. I'll say that. No. Listen. A girl that I used to co-host shows with, Rachel Blaze. She got they leaked. She had all kinds of infection. She had to do all kinds of nonsense. Like I know some, a lot of women are self-conscious about things and things of that nature. it really isn't worth it, especially if you're getting punched in the face. There's more than a good probability you're going to get punched in them implants. I really wouldn't. What happened to her, I wouldn't wish on anybody. So I'll just say this one: stay away from the boob job. I mean, if you guys want to do something else, hey, more power to you. But like, hey, it's a rough world. Cosmetic surgery's a hit or miss thing. But hey, we're all our own person. Definitely enjoyed this one, Sarah. Definitely want to have you back on here again in the future, guys. That's pretty much going to wrap this one up. I'm Steve. This was Sarah Alpar. She's definitely going to be making some noise in the combat sports world this coming year. Make sure you guys are checking her out. We'll see you guys back for another episode of our Athlete Spotlight. Peace out.